morning, everyone. Welcome back to Animation Station, your message for anything and everything animation. It is very early in the morning, so please forgive me if I still sound a little sleepy. I have my cup of coffee here, but I wanted to film this today because if you guys don't know, I also need to finish off Attack on Titan today. That's a three-part video. That's a three-parter I'm going to do in one video. So because of that, I decided to go ahead and just do the reviews from the haul yesterday now. So, yep, that's why the camera's on this early in the morning. And again, if I sound sleepy, please don't hold it against me, okay? I woke up not even like an hour ago. So, anywho, today we are taking a look at this guy right here. This is the JAKKS Pacific Sonic the Hedgehog 3 5-inch movie Sonic. Now, I originally was not going to get this Sonic because I already have this guy right here, the movie 2 one. But if you look at them side by side here, I'll do a better comparison when he's out of the box. But as you can see, if you look here, these two are drastically different in design and in articulation. So I thought that was worthy enough to warrant a purchase. Not only that, I couldn't find the 5-inch shadow, so I had to supplement it with something. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this figure here. To prepare ourselves for the trailer that should hopefully be out tomorrow, according to RPK and Games Cage. So, let's take a look at this figure together, shall we? I'll bring it a little bit closer here. So, as you can see, we have a nice big window box that displays the figure within. You have the Sonic name right there. You have the JAKKS logo here with a 3+. You have this big art here of a bunch of reused renders from Sonic 2. You have these three that were used in the Sonic 2 marketing, and of course you have Shadow up here that was used for the end credits scene, which, fun fact about the end credits scene that I don't think I pointed out in my spoiler review of Sonic 2, that is actually a reused, recolored model of Super Sonic. That's what they used for the post-credits scene. And I found that kind of interesting. Also, as you can see, the bubble here is also in an arrow shape. So I think they're definitely going with like an arrow-like aesthetic because this arrow shape is also the same shape as the tags on the plushes that you're going to see later when you see me review the Shadow plush. So, yep, let's go ahead and flip it over to the back. As you can see, there's a lot there. Let's start with this description. I'll bring it forward just a little bit so you guys can read it. Sorry if it's a little blurry, my camera's not very good. Sonic is on a roll, saved the world twice, but who's counting, and has 2 besties for his team, but will they be enough to handle a devastating new threat? 22 points of articulation. As you can see, he has some new articulation here and here. I think the rest of it's pretty much the same. And then if you look down here, there's the other figures you can find in the wave, Tails, Shadow, and Robotnik. So, that's pretty much all to say about the packaging, because, I mean, there's marketing nonsense on the bottom. Obviously nothing on top, because this is a cardboard blister box. So, yeah, that is pretty much the box. It's a pretty nice box, but unfortunately I gotta tear it apart to get the figure out. One thing I will say that I am a little bit disappointed by is that this guy does not have any accessories. Now, I wouldn't complain about this if it weren't for the fact that when the Sonic Movie 2 figures were re-released for a second wave, they came with accessories. Like, for example, when Movie 2 Sonic here got re-released, he came with a map and a little ring pouch. So, my question is, they could do that for that release, why can't they have accessories for this new release? Also, another difference you couldn't already tell, this is a 5-inch figure. The JAKKS figures are slowly working their way towards being taller like this. Because this guy here, this is a 4-inch, and then this guy's a 5-inch. And I believe JAKKS started doing these 5 inches when they did the figures for Sonic Prime. So, you have Prime to blame if you don't like the higher height or the slightly bigger price tag, because this guy was $10 and these guys are $15. I don't know if that's a price hike caused by inflation or it's just because JAKKS made the figure bigger. I don't know. But we'll do a whole comparison with this guy. I also did a full review of this guy already. The link will be in the description if you want to check that out. So, without further ado or delay, let's check out this brand new Movie 3 Sonic and see how he compares to his original counterpart. Here is the 5-inch Movie Sonic. Now, I gotta say right now that this guy looks amazing. Like, I am 100% legitimately impressed. Because this looks like a huge improvement and a huge retooling of the original Movie 2 Sonic. Because remember, the Movie 1 debacle kept that movie from getting figures. So, Movie 2 is as far back as it goes. But before we even get to comparison time, why don't we start by taking a look at all the different details. So, as you can see, he does have that texture all over him, which you can feel in your hand. You do feel the texture. It is textured plastic. He's got a little bit of a seam line going down between his spines and his face. That's okay. It doesn't look like it's like severe or anything, so I don't think that's a big problem. What is a little interesting though is that there's also like these clear blue lines on the back of him. Now, I know this guy doesn't have a glow feature. I am more than well aware. So I think this is supposed to be like him running. Like, when he's running, there's lines on him, like, shh. Like, you know what I mean. Like that old cartoon cliche where when you're running, you're either having lines coming off of you or there's lines coming on the trail that's being made. You know what I mean. So, yeah, he looks really good. He's got his back spines and his tail. All the details are accurate. He's got the texture, which I believe this is a mix between the texture of the original Movie 2 one and, of course, the Prime figures. I'm going to bring up the Prime figures a lot in this review because they had a huge impact on this guy's design. So, and look, my camera's actually focusing for once. So let's take a look at Sonic's face. As you can see, there's actual depth now because you can see his eyes from his ridge. Looks really, really good. The paint is really clean here. JAKKS did such a good job. He's got a smirk now, so he's a little bit more expressive than the last one. Is that a mark? No, it's the way it's just reflecting off the light. But yeah, he's got a nice, confident smirk now, so he's definitely a little different. As you can see right here, they fixed the big problem with the Movie 2 one, and that was that he had this weird divot in his chest fur. We're going to talk about it more when we get to comparison time, but as you can see, they fixed it. It's nice and rounded out now, and it's the same color as his muzzle right here. So that's good. He's got really big gloves, which is neat. And another cool detail is that they actually gave the texture to the shoes too. Because the Movie 2 one, I think it's just flat plastic. So now they actually have texture on the shoes. That's really cool. And then you have the socks. And of course you have the little gold tags. The gold tags are a little bit sloppy, but I can give that a little bit of a leeway because the rest of him is painted so well. And as you can see, he does not have a single problem standing up at all. For some reason, with the Movie 2 one, which again we'll talk about, he had a horrible time standing. That's why I have him on his accessory, his little board from the movie. And then if you look down here, fully textured shoes. Like, that is cool. I don't know why there's a brown serial number on his foot. That's a little weird. Because last time I checked, I thought the serial numbers were supposed to be on the back of the shoe. But no, they're not on the back. That's interesting. Okay, so they decided to put it on his sole rather than the back of the shoe. Bit of an interesting design choice, but okay. And again, like, I'm amazed that this guy has no problem standing despite being so top heavy. Like, he's standing 2 feet flat down. Like, I'm impressed. He looks really good. Like, I am really impressed with this figure. I think he looks really, really good. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do like 100% comparison, but let's just be honest here, guys. This is night and day. this is night and day. You can see the clear improvement from 2 to 3. We'll do a bit more of an in-depth comparison on him later. But for now, let's move on to the next stage, the articulation. Alright, please forgive the fact that we had to move down to the floor. I don't have another hand, so I kind of have to get a little creative. So, I'm going to bring my feet in here. Don't worry, I have socks on. And we're going to take a look at his articulation together. So, let's start with the head. The head is on a ball joint, so he can move side to side a little bit, which is kind of cool. He can spin, can he spin 360? Kinda, if you move the arms, he can, but yeah, you can move the head all around. And it doesn't feel loose either. But I do love that you can move it side to side, because again, I don't think that's something that was on the 2-1. So, that's really cool. So, you can move his head pretty much anywhere you want, but I don't think it spins 360. Which is an okay compromise. I can deal with that. Then moving on to his arms, as you can see, they are a little bit different, because we have a butterfly joint in there. Like, that's really cool. I don't think this was on the movie 2-1 at all. So, as you can see, you can swing his arm back and forth. You can spin it 360, right? Can you? Pretty sure you can. Yeah, there you go. Okay, you can spin it 360, it's just being weird. Adjust my camera a little bit. So you can do that. His arm can swing inwards and outwards. You have, yes, you do have a joint here at the elbow, so you can move that in and out. And then the biggest reason why I wanted this guy, and Shadow for that matter, hand articulation. Like, this is brand new for any figure, because I don't think this was even on the Prime ones. This is a brand new piece of articulation. You can actually open and close the hands. So that means he can hold accessories, or just, like, look real cool, like if you want him doing some kind of pose. Like, yes, it is a little bit limited, because it's not like each individual finger, but we all know what would happen if they did that, right? I mean, don't lie to me, internet, you do that too. And then there's also, is there also a wrist joint in there? Pretty sure there is, right? Hold on. Sorry, I gotta do this off camera to check. Ah, yes, he does have a wrist joint. So, yep, there's his wrist joint. It's a little bit stiff, but it's not too bad. And it doesn't feel like it's going to break. Like, this feels like a very solid collectible. Alright, so then moving down to his torso. As you can see, there is a cut in his torso, because he does have a little bit of a waist swivel. I think that's what they call it. Sorry, I don't know all the terminology. But you can move him side to side. You can move him back a little bit. There's a little bit of gapping, but it's not too bad. And I think, can you move him forward? You can't really move it forward, but you can move it back and you can move it side to side, which is great. Then moving on to his legs. Let's see, can he do the splits? Can he do the splits? Yes, he can. He can do the splits. Awesome. Absolutely freaking awesome. That is great range of motion. And then for his feet, he can go, his legs can kick up about 90 degrees. You're not going to get super far forward, but I don't think you're really supposed to. And then you can get about the same going back. But that does still look very, very good. Like, it doesn't really break the design up that bad. Honestly, this whole, like, joint look kind of reminds me of the Jazzwares figures. He does have a knee joint. You can swing that back and forth, which is really cool. If I can try to do this without knocking down my tripod. He does also have a little bit of foot articulation. He has a small little pivot, and you can move it forward and back. And I think it can... Does he have a swivel? Okay, I don't think it has a swivel, but either way, dude, like, that is some incredible articulation. That is absolutely just fantastic articulation. And not only that, all the joints don't feel stiff. That's the problem I had with some of these JAKKS figures, specifically the 4-inch Movie Sonic from 2. Because his joints were so stiff, it felt like the plastic was going to just, pop right off. But with this guy, he feels sturdy, he feels solid, and his posing is going to be amazing. So, Yeah, that is the articulation of Movie 3 Sonic. Huge improvement over the 2 one, and I definitely think that this is now the definitive Movie Sonic figure. I do hope we get one with a serious face, though, or a normal smirk. Because, with the open mouth, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get him in action poses where he's supposed to be angry when, you see a giant smirk on his face, so. But yeah, that is the articulation of Movie 3 Sonic. Definitely about, I'm gonna say, should I give it a 10? I'm not sure if I can give it a 10 because he doesn't have a wrist swivel. That is a little bit disappointing, but aside from that, 9.5. I'll give his articulation a 9.5, and his sculpt gets a 10. Because, this is leagues and bounds better than the one from 2. Pictures seriously don't do this guy justice. He looks amazing. Alright, now to move on to the next part of the video, which is comparison time. And we're going to go back up on the desk for this one. Alright guys, it's comparison time. So as you can see, we have the brand new Movie 3 figure right here on this side. Again, the stand up. There we go. And then we have the Movie 2 figure on this side. Yeah, you can see that there's a very clear difference, right? The texture's pretty much the same, but aside from that, the eye shape is different. There's no weird divot in the chest anymore. And he's a lot more solid. He also has a lot more texture. Let me try to get this Sonic into a standing pose if possible. It's a little hard because, like I said, mine is super stiff. It was so hard to get him to articulate for the review. So, here's the 4-inch one next to his counterpart. There we go. He is a little hard to stand up because his feet aren't that big, so unfortunately he's definitely a bit top heavy, but this is what they look like side by side for comparison. As you can see, it's definitely night and day. This one is way more accurate to the actual movie design, whereas this one, it's like a weird blend between the standard movie Sonic, the standard JAKKS Pacific modern Sonic, and of course with the movie stuff. So, yeah, that's what those two look like together. I'll go ahead and get them out of the way. Oh, and like I said, well, okay, he does have texture on the feet, but it's a little bit better on this one. And, like I said, no texture on the top of the feet. It's just flat plastic. And the paint's a little bit more messy. As you can see, there's some white bleeding into the red. Like, this guy, he's good for what he is. He was a first attempt from JAKKS. Because of the whole design debacle, they could not do figures for the first movie. So JAKKS didn't really have anything to work off of. So, as a result, we had to wait until the second movie to get figures, and it's a good first attempt. It does look like Movie Sonic, but you can tell very much it is a first attempt. And again, that divot in the chest is just so weird. I will never get used to that. But, I'm glad I still have this guy, especially since he's online for like $40 now, so. Yeah, it's a good first attempt, but we can definitely see that this one is way, way superior in every single way. So, that's what the two of them look like together. It's night and day. It's literally night and day. Between this one and this one. It is night and day. Alright, I'll get this one out of the way. So now you can see what he looks like next to a 2.5-inch figure. I do have a 2.5-inch Movie Sonic, but I decided to maybe vary it up a little bit. Let me move my camera down a little. Move this guy back. So instead, what I actually got was someone that's also going to come back for the comparison review for Vector the Crocodile, that 2.5-inch figure. I brought back good old 2.5-inch Modern Shadow. So if we stick him here next to Movie Sonic, as you can see, there is a very obvious height difference by a good bit. If you're going for scaling with like the human characters, you definitely want to get the 2.5-inch ones for scale. But if you don't care about that and you just want like articulation and detail, You get the 5-inch ones. So, yeah. And not only that, I just love this shadow figure and I want to use him more. Despite the fact he's a little top heavy. But, yeah, that's the comparison. And that's pretty much all the parts of the review I can think of. So, I'm going to get this movie Sonic into a super cool pose. And then I will get back to you for the final verdict. Alright, so, final verdict for this figure. My final thoughts. He is awesome, bro. Like, this is probably my new favorite Sonic figure. Like, he's articulated, very, very articulated, so you can get a lot of amazing poses out of him. He stands great, he looks great, he is leagues better than the Movie 2 one. And while you do have to pay a little bit more to get him, I'd say it's more than worth it, because Movie 2 one, you can't do poses like this, because you won't stand up. And not only that, his articulation doesn't work. But with this one, he looks fantastic. I love that they added hand joints. That is so cool. I did not expect them to do that. And he's going to look amazing on a shelf. Definitely pick this guy up. Even if you have this one, I still say pick this guy up. Because this guy is way better than this guy in every single way. This is a very good first attempt from JAKKS for movie Sonic. And then this guy is like the perfection. You are not getting a more perfect Sonic figure than you are this. This guy looks absolutely just fantastic. He's going to look great on display. And with his articulation, you are going to do a ton of cool stuff with him. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get to my final verdict for this guy. Move you out of the way, you inferior Sonic. Final verdict for this guy. Do I want to give it a 10? I'm not sure if I can give him a 10 because he doesn't have a an ankle swivel. Like, you can't turn his ankle. But the more I think about it and the more I look at it, yeah, this figure is amazing. Final verdict's a 10. I don't care. I can get past the fact he has no ankle articulation because of the fact he has so much great articulation everywhere else. Not to mention, his articulation actually works. Whereas with this guy, the plastic is stiff and chipping off. No. This guy is better in every single way. Is $15 a bit much for a figure? Yes, but put it into this perspective. An SH Figuart, one of those premium figures nowadays, is going to set you back about $35 at minimum. Whereas this guy, he's 15, he has amazing articulation, and he's way more accurate to the movie than his original counterpart. So yeah, I highly recommend getting this guy. I don't know why I was so hesitant to get him in the first place. Maybe it was because I thought this one would suffice, but looking at it now, yeah, no, this guy's better. In every single way, this guy's better. So, I mean, if you still have this one, I still wouldn't say don't sell him. Like, don't sell him even if you have this one. Because this is still a good figure. His articulation on mine just doesn't work. But with this guy, you definitely want him. Highly recommend it. Definitely get this guy. He looks amazing, and he's going to look amazing on a shelf. And since his articulation is even more insane than the original release, you are going to be able to get a ton of amazing poses out of this guy. Heck, I've seen some of my friends online who've also gotten this figure recently do some incredible poses with this guy. So, yeah. He looks amazing, and he feels like a quality figure. Like, this feels premium despite not being premium. So, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions on this figure in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time where we shift gears away from movie for a sec, because next time we're taking a look at this guy. And then I'm going to save the plush for last. So, yep, see you next time for 2.5-inch Vector. And we'll see how he compares to both this figure and this figure. So, more reviews coming your way very soon. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.
We cannot take it anymore. The time has come.